I could never have imagined that I would find my way back into the real world. A few weeks ago, my friends and my partner and my child were like strangers to me, and it was terrifying. But now I feel like we're connected on a much deeper level, and we look at each other and we just know that we're there for each other and we're not strangers anymore.
Body psychotherapy is an approach to meet each person as a whole being. It's one of the increasingly recognized mainstreams within psychotherapy. But where it differs is that fairly uniquely, it references the person's body as being fairly indivisible from their mind. Body-mind connection, or body-mind, is seen centrally to the person's sense of their self. What body psychotherapy does is that it makes use of the interconnectedness of body and mind and patterns of movements, feelings and thoughts that give structure to the way people relate to the world. This approach can help people with physical, somatic, mental, emotional or relational problems, and it's distinctive in the way that its focus is primarily on body experience, somatic awareness, posture and movement, in addition to verbal and non-verbal communication. Body psychotherapy works with the integration of thoughts, emotions, and sensorial experience into the psychotherapeutic process, whereby each individual creates a greater sense of self-awareness that affects positive changes in their life. In creating a careful and safe therapeutic atmosphere, both individually and in groups, children, young people, and adults can feel safe to disclose and review traumatic experiences.
Body psychotherapy doesn't work with a diagnosis or label or treatment. It's very different to other psychotherapy approaches because it uses the whole body in the process, of the therapeutic process. For a long time, I was battling the external pressures of trying to put my life back together, as well as all the internal effects of trauma and stress and stigma, and that can be really overwhelming. Breaking the cycle of hopelessness requires so much more than just the application of external resources. Becoming self-sufficient requires you to draw on your own personal strengths, and quite often there's little or even no support to help you with that. My body psychotherapist helped me to change this and made me feel safe and supported, and it was only really through my sessions that I felt able to disclose and review my own experiences of trauma and the impact that they were having on my life.
Body psychotherapy is important because it brings into psychotherapy over 100 years of detailed knowledge of how to understand the body and its many expressions. It originated from the research of Pierre Janet, Sigmund Freud, and particularly Wilhelm Reich. It has evolved from a number of different approaches, but has its roots in ancient body awareness and movement practices, but has always concerned itself with the mind-body, so its sources, boundaries, and metaphors. Other psychotherapy approaches have paid comparatively little attention to such issues. Research suggests a physical, biological, relational ground for the effects of emotion on health, disease, and the immune system. Scientific work is geared towards making the links in that chain explicit. This includes work on areas such as the study of emotions, non-verbal communication studies, systems view of life, and many more. Neuroscience more recently is offering a breakthrough in terms of the evolution of human knowledge, the study of how awareness interferes with the physical body. This confirms the view from body psychotherapy philosophy and clinical practice about the key role of homeostasis, self-regulation and balance in re-establishing a dialogue between all components of the body and finding a way to lead a balanced, healthy experience of life.
When I was growing up in my childhood, I was taught that in order to survive, I had to trust no one. But in order to live, I needed to trust enough to love and be touched by other people. I found body psychotherapy and the deeply reassuring and nurturing atmosphere that my body psychotherapist had created. I started to see, sense and experience all I needed to do in order to live and live well. Our bodies hold thousands of untold stories, and through therapy we were able to look at deeper meaning of all my past experiences. I had become numb and indifferent. So much suffering and pain. I couldn't feel anymore. Body psychotherapy was a real challenge for me, but it evoked the will to live. I don't think anymore about just surviving, avoiding life. I feel so alive. And yet, like me, there are so many people trying to find a deeper sense of integrity in how to live with meaning and not just survive. No one expected me to be here now. It wasn't expected that I would live. But I can now see much of what is precious in my life.
Over the years, I've tried many different types of therapies, but it wasn't until I realised that my mind and body were linked that I discovered that a lot of the issues that I'd had in childhood were having a profound impact on my body. My posture, my movement, the way I communicated with my friends had all been affected. And it wasn't until I discovered body psychotherapy that something clicked, that something made sense. With body psychotherapy, you're in a completely safe place with someone who can recognise the verbal clues and the non-verbal clues and work with you to get through these issues that you might have had or might not have realised that you had. And now, because of being in this place, being in this safe place with this person, I feel so much more alive. I feel like I can really engage with the world again. I don't have any of that weight on me, and it feels great, and I'm so glad for it.
Body psychotherapy approaches are practiced in Europe and throughout the world. There are a number of modalities within body psychotherapy, which each approach the therapeutic process in a slightly different way. What they all have in common is that they are concerned with the pathways and connections involved in mind-body dynamics. Now, what's interesting is that the approach is constantly evolving. As research continues, different disciplines are proposing new ideas and posing new questions. Questions such as where the notion of self comes from, and how do you build your notion of yourself by the interactions you have with others and with the environment. Body psychotherapy is committed to continued research to understand how people change and how profound shifts in mind-body dynamics can have a long-lasting effect on people's lives. Through body psychotherapy, you can heal the past, in the present, for the future.